Hey, it's Elliott Hulse. And no, that's not me. I'm actually far better looking than this guy. Real quick, make sure you stick around to the end of this video. I have a really cool gift that I want to send you. It's something that's going to help you build more muscle with less fat, and I think you're really going to like it. Also, I'd ask you to grab a pad and pen because some of the things we're going to be talking about, most people don't know. So you're probably asking yourself, what the heck is a steroid cocktail? Well, the truth is that I just thought it was a really cool name for a video about building muscle and burning fat. Wouldn't you agree? Quick disclaimer, just to satisfy all you lab geeks and internet experts out there watching this, I created this video to explain a very expansive and pretty confusing topic in a way that most people would understand. So if I fail to use the most scientifically sound terminology, don't get your panties in a bunch, put down the clipboard just for a moment and enjoy the video. Cool? Now, before we get started, I've got a really quick question for you. I know most of you watching this video are guys, but have you ever gotten PMS? What I'm talking about is puffy muscle syndrome. You see that guy on the left of your screen? That's one of my best friends, Byron. Byron can eat whatever he wants and even skip training for a few months, and he'll still have a set of six-pack abs. His muscles are always lean, big, hard, and ripped. Well, that big dude on the right, that's me. I'm what you may call an endomorph. I like to lift weights, and I can build muscle and get stronger without too much effort, but I get fat by simply looking at food. So as I go about training and eating for muscles, I always accumulate a ton of fat, and I end up with what I call puffy muscle syndrome. It usually doesn't matter how hard I train or what I eat. I simply can't seem to build muscle without getting fat along the way. But I recently learned something new. Well, at least it was new to me, that allowed me to go from this to this in a fairly short period of time. And it really didn't have much to do with which diet or training program I was on, because quite frankly, most of them are pretty good. But it was more about how I implemented these programs in order to affect my hormones. And that's why I named this video the Raw Steroid Cocktail, because I'm going to show you a two-step formula for maximum anabolism, not animal sex. First, I'd like you to understand that there are two types of steroids. And no, that's not what I mean. Actually, I'm referring to first, exogenous steroids, which is the kind that these guys make, and endogenous steroids, the kind that these guys make. So for the purposes of this video, we're going to be focused on endogenous steroids, the kind that your body produces naturally. Now within this category, we're going to discuss two types of hormones, catabolic and anabolic. In Chinese medicine and philosophy, anabolism falls under the yin category because it behaves in a nature that's feminine, believe it or not. Some of the other attributes to describe anabolism is cold, passive, growing. It's associated with the nighttime, rest. And with regard to your autonomic nervous system, it's parasympathetic. Some anabolic hormones include testosterone, DHEA, insulin, and growth hormone. Catabolic hormones are thought of as yang or male because it expresses the characteristics of being hot, aggressive. It's associated with destruction or breakdown. It's signified by daytime, movement, and with regard to your autonomic nervous system, it is sympathetic. Some of the catabolic hormones include adrenaline, cortisol, glucagon, and epinephrine. If you look at these two slides of the hormonal spectrum, you can use the analogy of yin and yang or night and day to describe their functions. They're really two sides of the same coin. So let me ask you a question. Which is more important for muscular strength and development, catabolic hormones or anabolic hormones? Well, if you're like most people, you might say, well, of course, Elliot, it's anabolic hormones. That's why athletes and bodybuilders take anabolic steroids, right? Well, let me ask you this. Which is more important for muscle growth, training or sleeping? Not so easy to answer, is it? That's because they are both equally important for muscular development. Again, they're two sides of the same coin. So then why is it that everyone is so against catabolism if it's so darn important for muscle building? Everywhere you look and read, people are promoting anti-catabolic supplements and diets. Is this really the best approach for burning fat and building muscle? Listen, nature is not dualistic. In fact, it's more of a dialectic or dance. You see, up exists because there's down, summer exists because there's a winter, day exists because there's a night, man exists because there's woman, and so-called good, or that which we happen to enjoy and is agreeable to us now, was decided upon so that we can better understand so-called bad, or that which we happen to dislike at the moment. The problem is that throughout man's journey to better understand the world around us, we've created theories, or better yet, stories that break up the universe into good and bad, when really they're both equally necessary and both sides of the same coin. Now, in the same fashion that the daily and annual rhythms take place in a predictable pattern, every time the sun goes down, 12 hours later it comes back, well, Anabolism and Catabolism should follow a similar pattern to allow the normal breaking down of the body, and more specifically in our case, the breakdown of fat for energy, and the building up process. And if we look at the chart, we can see that the red line, let me go back, the red line represents catabolic hormones. It should hit a healthy spike early in the day and then begin falling as the sun falls. And then the blue line, which represents anabolic hormones, dips into its maximal secretion phase as we sleep at night, allowing physical and psychological and physiological repair. But most guys have their rhythms all screwed up. If you look at the red line, you'll notice that we are way too stressed out, secreting way too many catabolic hormones during the day, which causes it to drop suddenly and never allowing the anabolic processes to take place naturally. So the problem is not catabolic hormones, it's that we abuse catabolic hormones by being stressed out, toxic, and overstimulated, and never give them a chance to naturally fall in order to allow the anabolic hormones to get their chance. Then we end up on a cycle where we're in a constant state of breakdown, which never allows us to build muscle properly. So what the heck are we supposed to do? We need a system that produces natural spikes in catabolism to burn fat, and then allow or even support anabolism to build muscle. What I'm about to show you is how we can use catabolic hormones as a switch to turn massive amounts of anabolic hormones on. Or in other words, use a hybrid approach that creates a negative feedback loop where we use strategic catabolic activities and habits to flip on or create an anabolic response. So, like I said, first we're going to stimulate short bouts of catabolism in order to burn fat and induce anabolism. Then we're going to maximize the benefits of the anabolic downswing to build muscle and then re-induce catabolism. By following the hybrid approach that I'm about to show you, you'll end up with a net profit of lean muscle mass quickly without the P.M.S. This is exactly what we mean by burning fat and building muscle at the same time. The first thing we're going to do is work on our diet. We call this a hybrid partitioning diet. Basically, this means that we cycle low-calorie diet phases with high-calorie diet phases. Some of these weekly phases go so far as to allow us to gorge on our favorite foods, as well as fasting or not eating an ounce of food for 24 hours. This way, we really hit both sides of the hormonal spectrum and maximize that negative feedback response. Now, I've created another video all about this hybrid diet that I'm going to share with you in a couple days. If you're on our email list, you'll get it sent to your email box as soon as it's ready. The second thing we need to approach is our training. We use a system called hybrid muscle training that uses training modalities from both ends of the spectrum as well. There are days where we train long and hard with very little or no fuel in our body. as well as days where we lift heavy, take longer rest intervals, and maintain fully fueled and pumped up muscles. I've got a video all about this for you also, and I'll be sending it to you in a few days. But in the meantime, I've got some stuff that you can use right away and begin working on to start taking advantage of the things that we spoke about here today. There are several things that you can do to keep your natural anabolic steroid cycle functioning at its best. Here's a short list I made for you. Avoid estrogenic or estrogen-producing foods that may actually aromatize or destroy some of your anabolic hormones like testosterone. Go to bed no later than 10:30 and try to rise when the sun does. Usually around 6:30 a.m. is best. Keep your stress levels as low as possible. I use meditation or breathing exercises to help me with this. Detoxify your body. Drink lots of water and avoid drugs, alcohol, and processed foods. Make sure that your digestive system is functioning properly. Look, most people are constipated and have very dysfunctional bowels. You got to get to know your poop a little bit better. Supplement with cod liver oil, eat egg yolks, and use butter. Cholesterol actually supports healthy anabolic hormone secretion. And limit the amount of stimulants that you use. Okay, so first, keep an eye out for the next 2 videos in this series. One is about our partitioning diet, and the other one is about hybrid muscle training. And finally, like I promised you in the beginning of this video, I got a cool gift for you. It's an anabolic assessment that I've used with my clients over the years to help me better understand how their bodies are functioning along the anabolic spectrum. Basically, if they're really getting the most out of their natural steroid cycles. So to get this assessment, all you got to do is go to the website below or click the link below this video. You don't have to give your email address or anything like that. It will just take you to a page where you can download it right away. Okay, enjoy that, and I will talk to you next time.